Okay, here we are. We are going to get started on Chapter 4, which starts on page 253. We are going to start working with multiplying and dividing fractions. So go ahead and get your book open to Lesson 2, which starts on page 265. Again, as I'm working, make sure you're working through the problems as well. Stop the video, rewind at any point if you're not understanding something, or jot a quick note down over on the side and shoot me an email. Okay, so taking a look here, we're going to talk really briefly just about commutative property. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it as this is a review. But basically, the commutative property allows for the operation can be performed in any order. So for example, if I have 6 times 5, that equals 30. That's the exact same thing as 5 times 6, that equals 30. Okay, so it works with multiplication. Let's see if it works with addition. If I have 4 plus 1, that equals 5. If I have 1 plus 4, that equals 5. So it does not matter in which the order of the numbers are given as long as you get the same answer. Now, where it does not work with subtraction. For example, 10 minus 7 is 3, but 7 minus 10 is negative 3. Therefore, that does not work. The commutative property does not work on subtraction. Let's talk about division. It does not work on division. 10 divided by 5 is 2, but 5 divided by 10 is not going to be 2. Okay, so if you were to take 5 and divide it by 10, that's what that looks like. It is going to be 0.5. Okay, it's going to be 0.5 or it's going to be 1/2. Okay, it does not work on division. So the commutative property only works on multiplication and addition. It does not work on division or subtraction, which is why when we start multiplying fractions, it's going to work. So turn to the next page, 266. And what I'm going to do is we're going to just jump right on in to this example right here. So we're learning how to multiply a whole number with a fraction, So for example, we can use an area model where we can multiply 2 times 2/5. Notice that each of these 2 whole are divided into fifths. Okay, so there's 1/5, 2/5, there's 1/5, 2/5. When I multiply those together, I'm going to get 4 and then out of a total of 5, so 4/5. So one way is to use the area model. The easiest way is to use an equation. It's very simple. So 2 times 2/5. We need to make my whole number as a fraction, which can be written as 2 over 1 times 2 over 5. Okay, times 2/5. Basically, what you do is you multiply your numerators and then you multiply your denominators. Okay, your numerators are those top numbers. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 2, which is 4. And I'm going to multiply my denominators, which is 1 times 5, which is 5. And my answer is 4/5. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice down below on these 3. So I have 6 times 2/3. So I'm going to put 6 over 1 times 2/3. Now, I have to multiply across. When I multiply across, I get 6 times 2, which is 12, and then 3 times 1, which is 3. Can I leave 12/3 how it is? No, I cannot leave 12/3 how it is because right now that is an improper fraction. That means that my numerator is bigger than my denominator. I cannot leave it like that. I have to change it. In order to change it, to take my numerator and divide it by my denominator, that's where I'm going to drop this down. Okay? And I'm going to cross this off. So now I have 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So my answer is 4. Okay, so my answer is 4. Because I know when I finish this out, I'm going to get 0, so I get 4 as my whole number, which happens. You can get that. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. 9 times 1/3. First thing is put that over 1, and then I'm going to multiply across. 9 times 1 is 9. Multiply my denominators. 1 times 3 is 3. I get 9/3. Can I leave it as 9/3? No, I cannot have a numerator bigger than the denominator. So to get rid of that, I'm going to drop my numerator down and divide. So now I have 9 divided by 3. I know that goes in 3 times. 0, so my answer is 3. Okay, let's do 4 times 1/8, and I'm going to write it up here. So 4 times 1/8, I'm going to put 4 over 1. I'm going to multiply my numerators. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 8 is 8. Can I leave my fraction as 4/8? No, that can be simplified. So I'm going to divide each of these by 4, which gives me 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2, so it gives me 1/2. So for C, I get 1/2. Okay. Seems pretty easy. You just have to remember if it's an improper fraction, that's very important, where your numerator is bigger than your denominator, so you have to take your numerator and divide it by that denominator. You always have to simplify no matter what. Okay, so let's see, is anything going to change when we multiply a fraction by a whole number? Well, let's see. If I follow 3/5 times 4 over 1, I'm going to get 12/5. Okay, because I multiply my numerators and then I multiply my denominators. Can I leave it as 12/5? No, I have got to take that numerator and divide it by the denominator. I'm going to move it down here. Okay, and I'm going to drop this down. And I know that 12, or I can take 2 groups out, which gives me 10, and I'm left with 2. That 2 now becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays how it was at the beginning, which was 5. So 2 and 2/5. All right, let's take a look at these for example. Okay, let's start with 1/2 times 3. So 1/2 times 3, I'm going to put 3 over 1. Okay, I'm going to multiply my numerators. What is 1 times 3? 3. What is 2 times 1? 2. Can I leave it like that? No. Again, write it down so you know that that is an improper fraction. Okay, where my numerator is bigger than my denominator. So therefore I have to divide. Okay, I know that goes in 1 whole, and I'm going to subtract. I have a leftover number. That remainder becomes my numerator, and my number that was my denominator stays my denominator, so I get 1 and 1/2. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. 2/5 times 4 over 1. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 1 is 5. Can I leave it as 8/5? No, my numerator is bigger than my denominator, so therefore, again, that is an improper fraction. Okay, we're not simplifying because we don't have a proper fraction. We have an improper fraction, so we have to take that numerator and divide it by the denominator. So I'm just going to drop that down here. I'm going to cross that off. I know that I can make one group of 5. When I subtract, I get 3. That 3, that remainder, becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same, so I get 1 and 3/5. Okay, let's do this last one over here. Okay, this next one, 3/4 times 5, and we're going to put 5 over 1. That is a really ugly 5, isn't it? There we go. So now I get 3 times 5, which is 15. 4 times 1 is 4. I know that I must divide because I have a numerator that is bigger than a denominator. I know that that can go in 3 times, which is 12. I subtract, and I get 3. That becomes 3, and my denominator stays 4, so it is 3 and 3/4. I'll rewrite it in case you can't see it. 3 and 3/4. Okay, let's go over here and let's do some examples together. Okay, oops, there we go. All right, we're taking a whole number and multiplying by a fraction. So starting over here, we have 10 over 1 times 4/5. we're going to multiply across. I get 10 times 4, which is 40. 5 times 1, which is 5. When I divide, because I have an improper fraction, that gives me 8, because this would be 0. So my answer is 8. Okay, again, starting with a whole number. So put the whole number over 1 times 3/4. And this is where I'm going to teach you this new thing called cross-simplifying. Cross-simplifying. Okay, this is awesome. You're going to look diagonally. So I'm going to look at the 2 and the 4. Is there a number that I can divide 2 and 4 by? Yeah, I can divide each of those by 2. So if I divide 2 divided by 2, I get 1. If I divide 4 divided by 2, I get 2. Now I just multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. And then I'm going to divide, because it's an improper fraction, and I get 1 and 1/2. Now watch what happens if I leave it the same without cross-simplifying. Let me move this over. So I'm not going to cross-simplify. I have 2 over 1 times 3/4. I'm left with 2 times 3, which is 6, and then 1 times 4 is 4. I have an improper fraction, so I'm going to divide. I know that goes in once. I know that I'm left with 6 minus 4, which is 2, and that becomes 1 and 2/4. Well, Mrs. Horner, that's not the same. Well, this is not simplified. We have to divide by each of these by 2, which gives me 1 and 1/2. The exact same answer. We can cross-simplify in the beginning, or we're going to end up simplifying at the end. It does not matter. Okay? All right, let's take a look at this example. We're going to do these two last examples. So we're going to do 3/8 times 11 over 1. I cannot cross-simplify here, so that's fine. So I'm going to multiply across. 33 over 8. I have to divide. I know that that goes in 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. I subtract and I'm left with 1. That becomes my numerator, and my 8 stays the same as my denominator. All right, the next one, 3 7 times 9 over 1. I cannot cross-simplify. 7 and 9 do not have a common factor except for 1, so it's not going to do us any good. So now we're going to do 3 times 9, which is 27. 7 times 1 is 7. I have an improper fraction, so I have to divide. When I divide, I get 3, because that gives me 21. When I subtract, I get 6, and I get 3 and 6/7. 3 and 6/7. Okay, so basically all you're doing is multiplying your numerator, multiplying your denominator, and then simplifying. If you get a point to where you are, if you get to the point to where you have a numerator that is bigger than your denominator, you're going to take your numerator and divide it by your denominator. All right? If you get a fraction to where you need to simplify, you have to simplify, otherwise it's going to be wrong. So if you get 2/4, you have to divide each of those by 2 to get 1/2. Okay? It's a pretty straightforward lesson. So you should be good to go, and we will be moving on next with lesson 3 after this one.